You're always ready?
Always ready.
Welcome to episode 145. We're getting there. Almost.
Close to 150?
Yeah.
Wow.
Close to 150. And then comes 200. That's pretty wild. I think, though...
It's wild that you can count, too.
What's that?
It's wild that you can count.
Yes, it is. I think, though, this is going to be one of the last podcasts in person for a while.
It will be. Again, whenever I'm here, we'll record some. So we'll have some here in studio. Because I'll be back in the area a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm literally moving 2 days after recording this. So
Yeah. So the audio quality might change a little bit. We're going to do our best.
yeah, we're going
keep it the
to
same.
work on getting it back to this. If it doesn't wind up being this at first.
It'll be very close eventually.
I have a microphone on the way that should help that. So
Yeah. So let's get some Project Car updates, because we talked on the last episode with my dad about carbs. That was our whole topic, so we
Yep.
kind of skipped over Project Car updates.
I think last we left off, we were welding the floor in the Starion we talked about.
Yeah, we did a real ugly weld for the back part, the largest part, which is behind the rear seat.
Yep.
Kind of ran out of time on that project while you were here.
Yeah, because I'm literally moving in 2 days.
Yeah, we should have started a little bit earlier, but that's fine.
Oh, whatever. We did what we could do.
I mean, honestly, I shouldn't say that, because we got a lot done. The car has a whole nose on it.
Yeah, the car looks 100 times better than it did.
Aside from having the spoiler put on, it's a complete car on the outside.
Yeah.
And
Pretty much. There's still some rust work to fix, but
But I think you decided the right way. Well,
no.
it's not the 100% restoration way to
We
fix
don't have
it.
to talk about how we're fixing it.
No,
It's not
we can
gonna
talk
be
about the way
great.
to fix it, because it's just the car is just meant to be functional and drivable.
Yep.
It's not meant to be pretty. It's just meant to be used.
Well, it's going to be pretty enough.
Okay,
We're not gonna, well,
sure.
the repair. We're talking about the patch panels. So if you're doing like a actual restoration on a car, there's a couple different schools of thought of how you do a patch panel.
Okay.
But all of those schools in thought include cutting out the entire affected area
Right.
beyond the infected area and replacing it with metal, whether you then butt weld it or lap weld it or whatever you wind up doing. Because of the nature of this car just being not worth a lot of money and not like an investment grade car and just a car we want to like get on and enjoy, we're going to more encapsulate some of the rust, I think. We'll neutralize the metal with some rust repair.
Right.
And then kind of put panels over rust, which is not the right way to do things, but it's the way it's going to get done in this case.
It's fine. It's fine for this car.
For what we're doing, it's fine.
You really like the roadkill aesthetic, and this car has a definite roadkill-ish.
I don't
aesthetic
love
to
the
it.
roadkill aesthetic. I just like the fact that they take cars out of junkyards and make them run again.
All right. Well, that's what we're doing. This car
Yeah.
was sitting. I mean, it ran, but it was just needed work to be.
If anybody else
Legal.
owned it, it would be in a junkyard.
Yeah,
So
exactly. So there you go.
we're making it work. A functional car is better every day of the week than a non-functional car.
Right.
So functional and pretty does not need to go hand in hand.
So again, cars that were in long-term storage. My dad and I have been working on the 75 Cadillac.
Yep, the 20,000 mile
Yeah.
75.
He got the
Eldorado.
radiator back from the radiator shop. I got some new parts.
Question, I didn't look at the radiator. Did they just slap black paint all over it?
No, actually, they only painted 3/4 of it.
Okay, but like just ugly black paint, right?
No, they didn't like just dip it in paint. It wasn't like pouring off. It was actually like really thin. So like, luckily I had a can of Eastwood radiator paint.
It's $500 radiator rebuild, and they didn't do a good job painting it.
No, but everything else looked fine because
Yeah.
it's like totally recored.
I know that they're not restoring the radiator; they're just making it functional.
Exactly.
So it's kind of like what we're doing with Starion.
Yeah.
But I've always had a problem with that particular shop in how they just slap paint on them when they're done.
well, there's
because
no.
I gave them a radiator to like check and clean and flow test and all that stuff,
Yeah.
and they painted it.
Yeah.
And it just bothered me because like it's a radiator from the 70s,
Right.
and they just painted over all the factory decals, and like they just didn't care, and it kind of always bothered me.
Yeah, and the other thing, there is literally, they are the only radiator shop around here
There's no other.
to do this type of work.
Yeah.
I'm sure once you go out west, where there's a lot of cooling issues with cars, there's a lot more radiator shops.
Yeah,
And
probably.
old cars, people are rebuilding these radiators because we did not want to put a plastic tanked
No.
aluminum radiator in this car.
Absolutely not.
And
A, aesthetically they're not nice, and B, they don't hold to the pressure that these cars demand.
and the reproduction all brass radiator was like $200 more.
Yeah, it was $1,000.
Yeah. So I coated it with some paint. It looked fine.
Right.
We put it in there.
It just bothers me that that the only company around that does this, they don't get a cheap price to do what they do.
They did a nice job with the neck. The neck looks perfect.
But
looks factory.
They just paint them with like black Krylon, and I just don't like it.
No. So the original reason why we had to fix it in the first place was when my dad went to check the coolant because the car was sitting for so long. He opened the radiator cap, and the tabs that hold the radiator cap literally just broke off because they were just rotted.
Yep.
So then we're like, all right, we'll just take it off, and they said they could weld on or braze on, whatever they do to it.
It's brass. It's braze it. Yep.
A new neck. So we're like, cool. And then we got it out, and I'm like, it doesn't look pretty. It looks kind of crusty. So we'll see what they say. And it had to be record.
Right.
So it was done nice. It just, the finish on it is not nice.
Right.
So I cleaned up the finish and made it better.
It's just a pet peeve I have with that particular radiator shop.
It is.
I've always had that issue with them.
And then I was at least able to get fitted AC Delco hoses.
So they look factory.
Yes. And AC Delco belts. And an AC Delco thermostat and gasket.
Did you wind up getting the proper oil filter for it as well?
I think we
The
just
AC
have a...
Delco one?
Yeah, but it's a newer version of the AC Delco one.
Okay.
It's not a vintage one. The one on there is from 1985.
At the latest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably before.
But yeah, we got it running. Doesn't leak. Starts right up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, so that's really nice.
And
The only thing I noticed we got to fix still is the backup lights.
Yeah.
Didn't have backup
Well,
lights.
that and the cosmetically, these cars have impact absorbers and like these plastic spacers between the bumper and the
Anybody
fenders.
that's ever owned a 70s to 80s GM car knows about like the urethane filler panels between the lights and the fenders.
And I remember them like they were fine, but then this car sat so long. We pulled it out of storage like a couple weeks ago, and they were just totally deteriorated.
Yeah.
And you'd bump into them by accident because you're working in the front of the car. It's hard not to hit them,
Yep.
and they just shattered.
Yep.
And luckily you can get them, but they have to be repainted.
Yeah, they're very brittle, unfortunately. Especially because the car was stored in your father's garage. It's not a climate-controlled garage.
No.
So it's affected by humidity and temperature change all the time.
Yeah.
So it's going to make them brittle pretty quick.
Yeah.
If they're just sitting, especially.
Crazy thing is, though, we put it up on the lift afterwards because he's going to do an oil change on it. I mean, it looks like...
It's a museum piece.
Yeah.
It's really nice underneath.
Yeah, it's super nice. I mean, it's been driven, but it's not been
Yeah, it
driven.
hasn't been driven much.
No, it's definitely...
20,000 miles over 40 years is like...
It looks like a California car.
Yeah. Really looks like a very well cared for California car.
Yeah. And yeah, it looks like a California car where the interior is not roached.
Mm-hmm.
Like the interior is perfect. So it's pretty cool. I moved it out of the garage and the brakes worked better with the fresh fluid. So it's ready to go. And then what else did we do? Oh, we're getting you ready for your trip.
Yep. We did a thing to my Jetta that probably should have taken 5 minutes. Took
Yes.
us like 2 hours.
Yes.
So, confessions first.
Okay.
I paid for my first oil change ever.
All right.
I've always just done my own oil changes. But I figure where this is a fairly new car and Volkswagen has the extended warranty on it, I want to have record of my oil changes. So I went to the local dealer to have my oil changed.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's a little pricey. But I guess that's the nature of oil changes nowadays.
They are expensive.
Plus it's a diesel. I don't know how much oil it took. Probably a lot.
Probably took like 8 quarts.
Yeah, probably not quite. It's only 4-cylinder though. So it could be that much. Maybe, who knows? But
It's probably 7, 6
yeah,
or 7.
It's a good amount of oil, I'm sure.
Synthetic.
And synthetic. So it was like $80 for an oil change, which seemed like a lot of money. But then I got the car back, and they washed it inside and out. Like they took all the floor mats out, vacuumed the floors, wiped down the dash, plus they washed the outside of the car.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that alone is probably a $30 value.
And then when you already keep a car nice and clean, when somebody does that, the car is like
Brand new.
looks brand new. Yeah.
Because the car wasn't like disgusting. It was just, it had dirt around the floor mats and stuff.
Yeah.
So it came out really nice.
And
I'm not upset having paid $80 and getting the oil change plus the satisfaction of knowing that my warranty now knows I got an oil change, and they clean my car.
And inside secret, so if you do have to take your car to a dealership and you keep it really nice, the people working there, usually, I know I would be more inclined to be much more careful with a nicely cared for car
100%.
than a car that is completely filled with garbage and trash.
Yeah, and I gave the car to them, and there was nothing out of place in the interior. There wasn't like even an empty coffee cup in the cup holder. Like it was empty. So
Stephanie has all oil changes done because that car
it's brand new.
is brand new and it's under warranty. But before she takes it to the dealership, I make sure it's all nice and clean and the tires are shined up.
Yep.
Because it's like also says like we're paying attention to the car too, so be careful with it. And then she had a funny story. She said that the guy like walked her out to the car and was like, "Oh, we can just like hit your red panic button." And she's like, "No, I can see the car right there."
Yeah.
He's like, "'Cause they all look the same." He's like, "Well, mine's right there." He's like, "Oh, you have those wheels, those different wheels."
Shows up pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny being my first experience in a modern dealership at all. I was like, I parked in the parking lot and I walked in, and he's like, "Where's the car?" And I was like, "It's in the parking lot." And he's like, "Oh, drive it in here."
Yeah, you drive up.
Okay, so you drive up to the like service door, and the door is on like, I don't know what kind of door motors they have, but that thing goes up so fast. And you drive in, and they take the car away. And
well, the place the Volkswagen dealer you bought it from is at the same new, it's the same new
Volkswagen architecture. Yeah.
So yeah,
had that same door.
Mm-hmm. So all right. So you paid for the oil change. What else do we have to do to it? Because you need to carry a bunch of luggage.
Two things. So I got a roof basket, and I bought a basket that goes in the receiver hitch in the rear. You would think that the receiver hitch in the rear was simple, because it's literally just a basket that slides into the receiver hitch. I mean, that shouldn't be too challenging, right? It should be just pull the pin, slide it in, put the pin back in, call it a day. So I did a bunch of research, because that's what I do, and I bought a receiver hitch basket for an ATV for two reasons.
A rating slave?
No.
You go by the ratings?
I like to make sure it's a good product before I spend money on it, especially when I wind up buying it from like Harbor Freight. Like, make sure the reviews are good, because there's some garbage sold there. But anyway, so I bought the ATV basket for two reasons. One, because it had the 1.25" receiver, the Class 1 receiver.
Yeah.
And two, because when it comes out of the receiver hitch, it's like a 45-degree bend in the bracket that goes up.
Yeah.
So it actually lifts the thing off the ground a little bit, because the ones that come straight out, when they hang off the back of the car, they're like, they scrape on everything.
Mm-hmm.
So this has a nice like kick up to it, like probably a good, I don't know what, 3 inches up, probably 3 or 4 inches up.
Also easier to like put stuff onto it, because
when
not
it's higher.
On the ground.
Yeah, exactly. So I get the thing home, and I take it out of the box, and everything shows that it should have the 1.25" adapter on it.
Right.
And it doesn't. It's got a Class 3 hitch on it, which is a 2-inch, which my car doesn't have.
It's like Class 2 and Class 3 is 2-inch.
Yeah, whatever numbers there, however it works. But whatever, it's got that kind of class hitch on it. So obviously you can't put the 2-inch peg in the 1.25" hole.
Yeah.
It's just not going to work.
So, like, we're in your driveway, your dad's there, and we're like, we're going to have to go back to the store and get a different one.
Right.
And I was like, wait a minute. I wonder if an adapter exists to go from Class 1 to Class 2. And both of you were like, no, that's crazy, because why would you do that?
Why would you make that?
Yeah, because you could just hook up.
I mean, I could see why I would do it, to put this receiver like basket on the back of the car, but the liability associated with making this product seems super high.
Because you hook up to like a car trailer with this hitch.
Right.
Now.
So now you have a Class 1 hitch in the back of your car, and you have a Class 3 receiver, like adapter that goes onto it. And who's to say what people are going to do with that? Because people are stupid.
Yeah.
And if you do that and you drive off in your car with a 2,000-pound tow rating, and you're pulling a 3-car hauler, like, what's going to happen here?
That's weird. So this is a thing. So it's like this.
It exists, yeah.
It's just an adapter that goes into the 1.25" inch.
Yep.
And then it flares out to 2 inches.
Yeah, it's literally like just 2 square tubes welded together.
That's what's infuriating about it. That like this luggage rack thing just didn't come with an adapter.
Right, because you think that most cars that you're putting this on are either going to be a 2-inch or a 1 1/4 inch.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time afterwards looking on the internet for like cargo carriers with the 1 1/4 adapter on them, and
Yeah.
they're almost non-existent.
Yeah.
Most of them have the 2-inch.
Weird.
So
But there's a lot of bike carriers that are 2-inch, and then you want to put them on a 1-inch because some cars can only get a 1 1/4 inch one.
So most of the bike carriers, believe it or not, are 1 1/4 inch.
Yeah.
But most cars have the 2-inch one on them. So they usually come with a sleeve
Yeah.
that goes inside the 2-inch to make it an 1 1/4 inch one. So because
Yeah.
you can backwards go that way with it, but obviously you can't make it bigger.
Yeah.
You can make it smaller by putting a sleeve inside of it, but you can't make it bigger.
Welcome to Trailer Talk on
Whatever.
Off
It's
Topic.
auto off topic. This is our off topic tonight. So I mean, I've never towed a trailer with the Jetta. It doesn't have the U.S. We talked about this before, that the U.S. tow capacity is
Maybe.
like severely underrated to the European tow capacity for the same car,
Yeah.
which I'm sure is just a liability thing. Like it's like a 4,000 pound tow capacity in Europe and a 2,000 pound tow capacity here, or something drastic like that for the same car.
Okay.
So,
But-
that's why it's a Class 1 hitch on it.
I mean, it worked out though because it spaces it out enough that you can open the hitch, open the hatch
With the basket on top.
with
'Cause I
the
bought
basket
one of those.
and the giant Tupperware on it.
Yeah, I bought one of those black with yellow lid, like Home Depot bins for it, because they they're heavy duty. B, they have holes in the corners of them for locking them, and they have enough like slots around them to run like a wire cable
Yeah.
through to attach to the car, so
The
it won't get stolen.
Only thing you need to modify now is to add some reflective tape,
To the
red,
back of it, yeah. 'cause
red
it
reflective
sticks off
tape.
like, I don't know, what, 3 feet off the back of the car,
Yeah,
probably total.
Yeah. But when you pulled out of my dad's garage, because we did it in there because it was easier.
Yep.
Oh, that's the other thing. So we went to put this thing into
Oh, the
hitch,
adapter. Yeah.
the adapter into the hitch, and where the receiver tube for the hitch, there's
So
like a factory
so the
dimple.
Factory had drilled partway through where the tube goes,
Yeah.
and they folded it in, so it was like a stop in the back of the hitch. But it made it so that this new receiver couldn't go in far enough to line the pinhole up.
We thought it was bottoming out at first. We're like, what
Yeah.
the hell?
We held up next to it, and it wasn't.
No.
It was just, why want to go in all the way? So we found that little tab inside there. So Andrew got down on the ground with a chisel and a hammer, and he was trying to knock the thing through. And we couldn't get it gone far enough because it was just bending in further, but it was still blocking the path of the hitch.
Yeah.
So we literally took this new adapter and put it in the clamps, the jaw horse,
Mm-hmm.
and just ground the
Use
corner
my
off of it.
Ryobi angle grinder.
Your new angle grinder, and just ground the corner off of it until enough taken off of it that we could slide it on. So, like I said, this should be 5 minutes to slap this thing together.
Yeah,
And it was
bolt-ons.
like 2 hours. It's not even a bolt on. You slide it in and put a pin in it. That's all you have to do.
Yeah. It's a pin on.
And it was like a 2-hour process, not including having to go get the new adapter.
However, the actual cargo basket bolts together very easily.
Yeah,
and it
it's very
seems to
nice,
be well
actually.
built.
Yeah,
Had nice welds on it, nice
Yeah.
finish.
it was only $50. It
Yeah.
was cheap.
It's like the Loadmaster 300. So
Something
it's
like that.
a 300-pound capacity.
Yeah, 300-pound capacity.
So,
But that I looked at my hitch rating is a 200 pound tongue weight, so I can only put 200 pounds inside there because that's pretty much all tongue weight.
okay.
So, but I'm not going to put more than probably 100 pounds in that container.
Yeah,
so.
it's just to free up space in the interior.
Yep.
And then you'll use it again for camping and stuff.
Oh, absolutely, it's perfect for camping. Just keep all your camping gear in it. Back up to where you keep your camping gear, take it off, and leave it there.
Yeah,
And you
it's
go
so
camping
strange.
again, and it's right there. So I'll definitely use it for that.
And then I gave you a roof basket. You might use that.
Planning on it.
All right.
That's another annoying story because my car has the front to back roof rails.
Right.
So it takes the, and I have Thule crossbars. So I was like, oh, I should just get the uprights for the Thule crossbars, the square crossbars that fit these roof rails. So it's a Thule 450.
Right.
Very simple. You look it up, it's a 450. I found this guy on Craigslist Marketplace that was selling them.
Facebook Marketplace.
So that's why I say Craigslist. Yeah, all right. Facebook Marketplace that was selling them for $75 for a set of 4. So they're $199 new.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, perfect. I'll buy these for $75. Drove like a half hour out of my way to see them. And I get there, and they're not even close to what I'm supposed to have.
Yeah.
And I was like, these are not 450s. And he's like, oh, maybe they're 450Rs. I was like, no, they're not 450Rs either, because the 450R is the same as the 450, but for an arrow bar instead of a square bar. Oh. I was like, these look like they came off of like a Corolla. He's like, yeah, they came off of a Corolla. I was like, okay, well, these aren't what I need. These are not what you advertised. Well, I don't know what number they are then. I was like, okay, so go on Thule's website, put in the kind of car they came off of, and see what fits. And that's what these are.
Oh.
So I was super annoyed because now I'm an hour out of my way to find these stupid adapters that just don't fit my car. So now it's too late to order them online. So I have to find a store that sells these things. And the only store that sells these things is in Framingham. A place called Rack Attack.
Yep.
I don't have time to drive to Framingham this weekend.
Yeah, I was going to end up telling you that too, yeah. They're like the only big Thule dealer around here anymore.
Yeah, and there's the bicycle store in Nashua does too.
Yeah, because the rest, there used to be ski shops that did it, and they closed up.
Right. So I was looking online in desperation Thursday night, and I found an aftermarket brand called like Rack Up or Roof Rack Up or something like that.
China Rack Roof.
China Rack Roof, yeah. Put stuff on car parts.
Yeah.
That sells a kit that is a universal to go clamp around the factory rails.
Yep.
And it comes 4 uprights and 2 crossbars.
Yep.
For like $65.
Mm-hmm.
So I just ordered them.
Cool.
They're Amazon Prime. I should have them in time. Fingers crossed. If not, I guess I will be running to Framingham. So I'll give an update on the quality of those things when they arrive. Because for $65 for all 4 with crossbars, it's pretty cheap. I mean, they also come with locks. Because Thule ones don't come with locks, and the lock's at $60, which is also annoying. So I'll either get the $65 ones and they'll work, or they'll be garbage, and I'll be spending $200 plus the $60. I'll be spending $260, which doesn't even include crossbars. I happen to have crossbars. If you need to buy crossbars too, you're talking about $370 and stuff. So this stuff's not cheap.
Nope. That's why. Well, it's best to like search. Well, it used to be you search Craigslist for used Thule stuff, because that's the thing. Thule stuff is annoying to store.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times when it doesn't fit,
people just sell it.
People just sell it, and they sell it cheap.
I've always bought used stuff.
Exactly.
Everything. The only new fit kit I ever bought was I have a Starion fit kit.
Yeah.
Because they're super rare. And I've always had a Starion lying around, but I've never actually used the fit kit. But I have it if I ever do.
Yeah. I've got like 2 or 3 sets of bars that I've acquired over the years.
Yep, I have 2 sets of bars.
I have the ones for the that's the other one thing. So the ones for the Galant are super rare too. So the towers fit either the Galant, and I don't have the Mitsubishi versions of them. But
wasn't the harder part to get for the Galant the actual roof moldings for width?
Yes.
Yeah.
I have a set of those. They're on the car right now, and I have the regular moldings put away. But the actual towers fit both that and like a single model of Land Rover.
So random.
Yeah. And then, so we talked about Facebook Marketplace. I had my Rotas up there. I ended up selling those, so it did work out.
Nice. And it said tires you sold too, right?
Yeah. I put up tires this morning, and they sold this afternoon. So maybe I'm pricing stuff too cheap, but the things were in the
leaving. Yeah.
The stuff was in the way, and now it's not in the way.
Well, I mean, you sold a set of 4 decent condition Michelins for $40.
They were very old Michelins.
Still probably too cheap.
And I put that in the ad that they were. I felt bad because they are so old. They're like from like 2010.
Somebody needs them.
Hey, whatever. But I was literally gonna throw them away, like dump them at my old work,
right,
in their tire pile, just so they get recycled. And then I was like, let me throw them up on Marketplace, see what happens, and made a couple bucks off.
$40 is better than getting in trouble for bringing old tires to your old place of work.
I wouldn't get in trouble for that.
I'm just saying.
But yeah. And then the funny thing was like the dude that showed up. This is where Facebook Marketplace gets kind of creepy. He like saw mutual friends,
right?
And he like knows listener Chris Cavalieri,
which is funny. And
then we got talking a little bit. He's also like a Mark Wahlberg body double for the movies.
Right? So weird.
Because like he pulled in my driveway. I was like, he looks kind of familiar, but I can't place it. And they were talking a little bit, and he said what
show me like your naked backside walking away. Oh yeah, you were Mark Wahlberg in.
no, his face.
No, I know.
Like, and then like, yeah, he like says it to me, and I'm looking at him like, yeah, I see it, man. Like it was just like weird. And then I showed it to Stephanie. She was like, yeah, it's like,
Yeah, it's kind of bizarre.
but hey, whatever pays your bills. It's pretty cool though.
Yeah,
And he was super
whatever.
nice. So
If I could make money acting, I would too. That's for sure.
he's gonna put some Rota Sub-Zeros on his Civic Si. I forgot to ask what year it is, but it's probably like not the current one, but the kind of middle-ish one, I
Like
bet.
the 14, 15 era?
Probably.
Yeah.
So those will look good on that car because they actually don't make the Royal Gunmetal wheels anymore
No,
with
nice.
the polished lip. So that'll be cool.
When quote-unquote fake wheels become vintage, they become cool again.
I know, right?
I mean, those wheels are like 20 years old almost, so...
They're from 2016. No, I'm sorry,
No,
16 years old.
Yeah, 2006.
2003.
2003? Okay.
Yeah,
So, yeah, close to 20 years old.
yeah, I bought them brand new. And
Long time.
they never saw winter. They're in really good shape, so they're not corroded at all. But
And again, those are too cheap, too. He sold them for $200 with tires. Again, tires are old, but $200 with tires.
I was tired of them. I was sick of moving them around, and now they're gone. So I'm happy,
Right.
and I don't miss them. They no longer brought me joy.
They just brought you annoyingness.
That's right. So did you ever? We'll change gears here.
Don't ever do that again.
You ever think about license plates other than how much registration costs?
I mean, I think about how many different letters and number combinations there must be. I often think about what cool vanity plates there could be, but then I realize I don't want a vanity plate.
Yeah, because they're expensive in the state.
Yeah, plus it's kind of like, yeah, I don't need that.
I don't know. I had a cool one.
Latrell?
Lateral G,
Latrell G?
lateral G,
What's up, Latrell?
lateral G.
Yeah, but everybody calls you Latrell when you hit that plate.
No.
Latrl.
Stephanie was driving the car one time. Got Latina girl.
Okay, I got that. Even though like G's at the end.
Yeah.
Because it was LATRLG. Lateral
Most
G.
people would get it that were car people
Yeah, most people aren't car people.
because it was
though.
on an STI and then my Evo, so it said
Yeah.
lateral G.
No, it was a good plate, but people just suck. That's basically what it comes down
I
to.
believe you came up with the plate.
I probably did, but I don't want to admit that anymore after we started calling it Latrell.
Whatever. So, way back, New York was the first state to require registration numbers in 1901. So they had to be black paint on a white background.
Very simple.
So as a car owner, you had to register with the state, and they would issue a number, and then you also had to put your initials with them.
Oh, okay. So your plate would be like 42 AP.
Yeah, I'd get like 123 AP.
I like it.
And these had to be like 3 inches tall, and they put anywhere in the back of the car. And they could either be painted, people would make a piece of wood, they'd use house numbers, whatever you wanted.
Should go back to that.
Just like a random,
Just whatever you want to do.
whatever you want to put on it.
As long as like a certain like height and like boldness.
Yeah.
Just do whatever you want. As long as the
So-
number lines up.
And then, of course, because the number of cars increased, the initial system started to fail.
Yeah, because there are a lot of 2-3 APs all of a sudden.
Yeah, a lot of people have the same initials.
Yeah.
So then in 1903, they started issuing numbers without using the person's initials, but you still had to make your own plate
Didn't
number.
last long, only 2 years. Though.
Yeah, until 1910. And then still early plates were made of like leather, wood, whatever you wanted. And then the cool thing,
Do you have a plate that says Leather Daddy?
yeah, our great state of Massachusetts here
Yep.
started issuing porcelain plates in 1903. It's the first state to actually issue plates.
Okay, so New York made you make your own plate, but they gave you they told you what to put on it.
New York started by issuing registration numbers
Right, which you had to put display however you felt like.
on the car.
Yep.
Because in the beginning, it was sort of like a Wild West. All these people were buying cars. There was no way to track them
Mm-hmm.
or keep track of like what little traffic laws they had.
Let's say, why did they even need to track them at the time?
But that's the other thing. So speed limits were even like we complain about the 25 mile an hour citywide speed limit right now.
Right.
The speed limits were like 15.
Because the car wouldn't do 15, so it didn't matter.
And like,
Your 4 horsepower Renault and get up to 15 miles an hour, you're moving.
and it was like you like had to compete with all the horses on the road.
Mhm.
So
And when somebody crossed in front of you, you pulled a lever that put your wooden brake pad against your wooden
Exactly.
tire. So it wasn't exactly that you should be going any faster than that.
so in 1903, Massachusetts came out with porcelain plates, and this was after the creation of the Automobile Department
Okay.
of Massachusetts. And the revenue of this, the registrations, would be used to pay for road improvements.
Ah, they've been saying that for a long time.
Yeah.
Huh? I wonder how bad the potholes were in Mass
I
back
know,
then.
right? Do you know what the original fee for registration was?
I do, only because you put it in the show notes.
It's $2.
Yeah. Which wasn't cheap.
No, it's not. That was very expensive.
Yeah.
And then by New Year's Eve, 1903, the state had raised over $17,000 in registrations. It's pretty
Wow.
impressive.
That's what they get now on sales tax on one car sometimes.
Yeah. They had 3,200 cars registered and 502 motorcycles.
That's pretty neat,
Yeah.
actually. That's actually a pretty close number, too, of motorcycles to cars.
Yeah.
Like, there were a lot less disparity than there is now. Like, now there's millions of cars and probably millions of motorcycles, too.
So
So it's a
the-
much bigger gap.
The plates were like a dark cobalt with white letters.
lettering, yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen some of those early plates. They're really neat. Most of them have cracked over time because they're porcelain,
Yeah.
and they didn't really hold up to the rigors of the automobile, but you got a new plate every year, so it didn't matter that much.
Yes. So also super expensive to maintain this system
Mm-hmm.
of issuing plates every year, and that's why they stopped doing it
So they did it at least through the 30s, right?
all the way up through the 60s.
Was it that late?
Well, yeah, you can get year of manufacture plates.
Right, but you can get your manufacturer plates for after that, too. You just have to get the style of plate that came
But
out
the
on that
plate-
car. I didn't realize that they went until the 60s.
Yeah, the plates that are stamped with the
Yeah, well, I knew that. I just didn't realize they went that late. I can't... In my brain, I can't see one that says 63 on it, but, I mean, if you're saying they exist, I think they were maroon and white by then, right?
Yeah.
It's a maroon
Oh,
plate.
I could be wrong. Not 60s. It might be till into the 50s. But
Either way.
at a certain, until they developed sticker technology, you'd have to get a new plate every year
Mm-hmm.
because it was like stamped into it. Getting a little ahead, but so the very first plate. This is an interesting fact. So plate number 1 in
Mass, we're talking,
Massachusetts was issued on September 1st, 1903, to Frederick Tudor of Brookline, Mass. And the plate is still actively registered by his family.
yeah. So they still have number 1.
Plate number 1.
So somewhere around, there's a 2018, say, car with a number 1 porcelain plate on it.
Probably not the porcelain plate, but it's probably a Spirit of America plate.
Yeah, I'm
that
sure
says
it's a
number
new
1.
style plate, yeah.
But that's pretty cool.
That's really neat.
Yeah.
I'd like to have plate number 1.
And the early plate said Mass Automobile Register. I don't think I've actually seen one in person. I've probably seen one.
You probably have and didn't notice.
Yeah, I'm sure they have them
We've been,
at the.
we've been doing enough car shows in our life,
Well,
seeing old cars.
I'm sure they have them at Lars Anderson on the wall or something.
Yeah, probably.
And the crazy thing too, so the size of the plate was not standard yet. So like license plates could be any size,
Mm-hmm.
and the plates just got wider as numbers increased.
As more cars showed up on the roads.
So if there was like
Imagine they kept that system going. They didn't add letters. Like, we'd have license plates the entire width of the back of the car
Right?
nowadays.
yeah, so at some point
What's your plate number? Oh, it's longer than my VIN number. I don't remember.
Yeah, somebody was like, that's not going to work. So before we got there, though, the state of Virginia. So that's the other thing in Massachusetts, in the United States, vehicle registrations are state issued, whereas other countries they are
Country.
country issued.
But they're also reciprocal from state to state here. So you can
Yes.
drive with your mass plate in any adjacent state.
As a courtesy, yes.
Yep.
But
You have to follow their laws.
yeah,
So if your car is illegally modified via New Hampshire's rules, and you're driving with your mass plates, they can technically pull you over and ticket you.
yeah,
Which is
it's unlikely.
doesn't normally happen, but I'm just saying it does. Actually, the big example of that would be the H2O show in Maryland every year.
Right.
People show up there with out-of-state modified cars, and they all get towed and impounded because the police are very strict about it because of people behaving badly, obviously.
Right.
But that's why they're strict about it.
So in Virginia, they started stamping plates in 1906 out of steel. And then by the late 1910s, pretty much all license plates became metal. And then again in Massachusetts, 1920, they started stamping plates yearly at the Charlestown prison.
Right.
So, of course, you got to figure you need all these plates all the time because plates were reissued every year.
Yeah.
Where's cheap labor? You just make prisoners do it.
Prison. Yep.
So that's where that comes from. Where I don't know if you ever heard it. Like people talk about like making plates in prison,
Oh, of
or
course. It's a common movie trope.
actually fun. It's in Cruising USA. So when
the
you
video game.
yes, when you set your time and you put your initials into the game, it like stamps the license plate. The machine stamps it, and then it like goes up on the screen.
Oh yeah, I've read about that.
Yeah.
No prison reference though. That's what you're going with.
Yeah, I mean, I thought of it because I knew that's where they were made, but I don't know. That's kind of what made me think of it. But
Man, that's a throwback video game right there. It's
Yeah.
back to the 90s.
yeah, but what's really important is 1956, and this is when automobile manufacturers and government agencies of the United States, Canada, and Mexico got together, and they're like, we need to do something about all these crazy license plate sizes, and that's when they mandated the size that we have now, which is 6 by 12 inches. So 6 inches high by 12 inches wide. And then
Okay.
all the bolt holes are standardized so that every car that's sold in North America, so Canada, United States, Mexico, and I think it's pretty much extended to South America too, they all bolt on.
So it's standardized. So all of them have to follow the same rules.
The size of the plate.
What confuses me is the state of Delaware.
I couldn't find anything about that.
So if you're an East Coast resident or spend any time on the East Coast, you'll no doubt have seen the Delaware all black tag with white letters, and it's undersized.
Oh, you know what happened when I went to research it? I thought it was Maryland.
No, it's Delaware.
Maryland and Delaware, they're like next to each other. I got 'em
And they're
confused.
both very small and kind of unimportant.
Yeah.
I don't think we have any listeners from either of them, so we can call them that.
So yeah, I didn't figure that out because I looked up the wrong state. I don't know why it's weird, and it's like a motorcycle-sized plate.
Yeah.
That's on cars.
So I'm on Delaware's Delaware Historic Plate Company. Welcome to the new home. Authorized manufacturer of Delaware black and white porcelain and stainless steel license plates. Known locally as Delaware Black Tags. Your source for black and white Delaware plates since 91.
Maybe they allow you to run these plates.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. Every state has different rules about plates.
We are authorized to produce a historic reproduction stainless steel license plate. This marks the first time in 50 years Delaware residents can obtain a stainless steel tag for legal registration. Our license plates are manufactured by Delawareans for Delawareans. But they're a weird size. So you must have to apply for it, and
Yeah, they're a weird size because they're like what would go on old cars.
they're
like-
historic. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're not standardized, which is it's super weird that they have that. Like that would never fly here in Massachusetts.
No.
But that's the way I don't know. It's weird.
So you can go to the DMV and tell them you want to have one of their plates. Then you have to go through them, and you have to buy and sell your tag numbers.
Interesting.
So if your number's like 32456, then you can sell that for a lot of money on their trading forums.
Yeah, if I have like plate number 12, like a low number plate.
Yeah.
So that's the other fun thing about Massachusetts. We have low and reserve number plates. And
Right.
for a long time it was really hard to get these plates. You had to know people at the registry. So then in the early 90s they started doing a lottery because people were complaining that it was unfair to get these plates, because there's also a sort of legend that if you have a low number plate, you are less likely to be hassled by police
Because you knew somebody
because you knew somebody
or had money.
or had money.
So in Delaware, I'm looking on their forums right now.
Yeah.
This is the Delaware DMV forums, or actually no, it's the Historic Plate Registry forums.
Right.
So this guy's selling a plate 12145. Black and white tag 12145. Registration active through February 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Asking $1,500 for the plate.
Whoa.
Yeah. So I know that that's a thing in Europe, or in England specifically,
Right.
you can buy and sell number tags. But I didn't know it was a thing anywhere here. But that's apparently what's going on here.
Interesting.
So you can buy 12145 for $1,500.
Weird. And they're illegal to be reused.
It's legal to be used. Yep. It's bizarre.
It is bizarre. So after that, basically, other than this weird Delaware thing, all plates have become the standard size, and just different variations of them. And there's like a whole there's a whole automobile license plate collectors association,
Probably.
and they just catalog and collect license plates
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's big
and
business.
vote on new designs. Yeah, it's kind of an interesting thing of like pop culture, I guess.
I know also what's happening right now is there's a lot of license plate reproduction companies,
Right.
especially where a lot of states now have adopted what Mass does with the year of manufacturer. So if you have an antique car,
Right.
you can run under the same rules as an antique plate with a license plate that would have come on that car.
Right.
So companies are making, like in Mass, we have our plates are white with red letters and blue Massachusetts, and you're required to run 2 of them.
Yeah.
But the plate before that was white with green letters, and you only had 1 plate. So
Right.
people are finding these like beat up green plates and having them remanufactured by this company that makes brand new ones.
Right.
So you can run them.
So the green plates currently are legal in Mass.
Yep.
And the red on white, which is they call it the Spirit plate,
Yeah, because the bottom of it says the Spirit of America.
Spirit America. That's the thing I learned. I didn't realize that plate dates back to 87
That makes sense.
because it doesn't seem like it's kind of a timeless plate, I guess.
Yeah,
It's-
no, it looks pretty modern.
Yeah.
Doesn't look like 87.
So that's the other thing. So in 71, that was when 3M invented the reflective material that coats plates. And then that became required on a lot of plates. And
Right.
a lot of states require that because it makes the plates reflective and easier to see.
And especially now in the days of like cashless tolls,
Right.
it makes the camera really easy to read them, which is another reason that a lot of states are now going to the 2-plate system.
Right.
So if the back plate isn't legible, the front plate
Yeah.
would be, or vice versa.
And then some states, but not all states, are doing the digitally printed instead of stamping.
Instead of stamped. Yeah.
So they're now plastic plates that are printed,
right. Still reflective, though.
still reflective.
The one exception to all this is California, who's now doing digital plates.
Are they have barcodes?
No, it's screen. Literally, it's a digital plate. Like it plugs into your car and it all lights up.
Weird.
Yeah, it's weird.
Well, why?
Add complication and cost.
That seems so
California.
complicated. That's weird.
I don't know why they're doing it. I don't have any insight into that. I can try to look it up while we're sitting here, but
So the other thing that's interesting too is the font on plates. There's a font called FE Schrift. It was developed in Germany during the Cold War. It was to combat falsified vehicle plates. So people trying to get from East to West Germany and like terrorists trying to hide, they would modify license plates to be different numbers and
like
stuff.
change a 3 to an 8 or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
So now most plates use this font or a derivative of it, and it's just you don't notice it, like it's hard to notice. It's a monospaced letters, so it says the monospaced letters are slightly disproportionate to prevent forgery,
Right.
and it also improves machine readability.
Well, I'm looking at like the plates in the wall behind you,
Right.
and it's true. Like, look at the 2. It's got a small hook on the top, and then it
Yeah.
goes like a long line down at the bottom, like not how you would make it to. But you couldn't change that in anything else. So it wouldn't work.
Yeah, exactly.
Or like the 8s have perfectly even circles top and bottom,
Yeah.
but the 3 has a smaller hook on the top and a larger hook on the bottom. So if you turned it into an 8,
It'd be obvious.
it would be obvious.
There's like a Happy Days I remember where like Fonzie like painted the letters on the plate for some reason.
That's a real deep cut right there.
Yeah.
I remember a friend of ours growing up had a 30th anniversary Camaro,
Yeah.
and he had a vanity plate. But the 30th anniversary Camaro, if you remember, was white with orange stripes, and he painted all of the So it was a mass plate, so it was white with red letters, and he painted over all the letters with orange paint to match his stripes.
Ooh.
Yeah, it didn't last very long until he got pulled over on that one.
Yeah.
Whatever, we were dumb kids, obviously, at the time, but yeah. I mean, it looked cool for a minute.
Yeah.
But we're like, I think that's illegal. And he's like, nah, man, nobody will notice. Yeah, they definitely noticed.
And then there's also rules about intermixing certain letters and numbers together.
Mass is very specific about it.
Yes.
They don't allow any mixing.
Well,
except on the new plates.
New plates. But they're mixed in a way that it's like computer generated in a way that it makes it still readable and not easily confused with a different plate.
Right, so you couldn't do like 1I, 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 1I to make it visually confusing.
Exactly. And there's never like, I don't think there's ever O's intermixed with zeros.
Well, in mass, the plates for a very long time where it was a standard mass plate, it was all numbers and then all letters. It was never going to be numbers, letters, numbers, letters. It was never a combination.
Yeah.
And it was always numbers first.
Right.
Unless you had a vanity plate had to start with a letter. The exception to that in the past was always the reserve plates, which is a whole other story for a whole other day, where they started with a number or a letter, but they still wouldn't intermix.
Nope.
Very recently, the plates now have one number, two letters, three numbers in mass.
And actually, even before that, like, I've got a set of plates that are two numbers, two letters, two numbers.
Right. That was for a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember that.
And it's really just has to do with the amount of cars being registered.
Yeah. They had more combinations available.
Because unlike in a state like California where the plates stay with the car,
yep,
in mass, you can either transfer them or you get new plates.
Right.
And then your old plate.
And also, we only use a maximum of 6 digits here.
And and your old plate just goes away. It just gets purged from the system if it doesn't get renewed or transferred. Yeah.
I mean, eventually they'll probably go back to the original ones, but
maybe.
Who knows when.
I guess they could see what's an active number, but then...
Well, with the year of manufacturer plates working right now, it's probably a little harder with that. But I don't know for a fact how that works. But again, like I said, we also only have, in mass, a maximum of 6 digits.
Right.
Like, it's nothing beyond that. Even a vanity plate, you can only have 6, which is why your lateral G was spelled the way it was spelled.
Yeah, a vanity plate, you had to figure out... So the very first vanity plates, too, could only be your initials.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's why they're called vanity.
Pennsylvania,
probably.
yeah.
Oh,
yeah, that makes sense. I didn't even think about that.
Because that goes back to the beginning of registrations, too, there in New York, where you had to have your initials.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I definitely wouldn't pay extra just to get BD on my plates.
No. No. It's funny, though. It's such a simple thing. And then I always like to look, when you look at, like...
Although I remember your high school plate, because it had SA on it.
Yeah. Which
I made into your initials at the time, because it said Stupid Andrew.
Oh, thanks.
I'm sure you remember that.
Yeah, I do.
And our friend Keith had WH, which we always said was white heat.
Yeah. And then I always looking at imported cars, and you kind of see where the different outlines of the different plates.
Used to be, yeah, because of different sizes.
Yeah.
I don't think they're standardized in other countries like they are here.
They are.
Are they?
Yeah, especially through the EU. They're standardized now.
Okay.
So it's like a long plate and...
It's a long plate in the front, though. Not always in the back.
Not always. But a lot of times it is.
Not always means not standardized.
Well, majority of the time it is, because it has it'll have the country code, the registration, and then something else.
Well, I know in England, the first digit of the plate is year of manufacturer, not a country code. That's how people can look at every car and know exactly what year it is.
Well, not a country code. It's literally a country code, is the separate corner of it. So, it'll have a British flag. It'll say UK, and then, when I was in Portugal, it would have the Portugal flag, and it said POR, and then, SPA, SPN for Spain. You could see what cars came from where when they're parked in the street. Oh, that's a Spanish car, that's a blah, blah, blah. Because you'd see a UK car, and, it'd be on continental Europe, and the steering wheel's on the wrong side for continent.
So, backing up a little bit to California's digital plates.
Yeah.
Motorists who choose to buy the plate can register their vehicle electronically and eliminate the need to physically stick the tags in their plates each year.
Okay.
They also may be able to display personal messages if the DMV allows it.
Okay.
If the car is stolen, the plate's manufacturer says the plate can tell the owner and police exactly where the car is, unless the plate has been detached. California has been quietly prepping its rollout this year, the first day to try new plates. Do you know what having a digital plate in California will cost you?
I bet it's $1,000.
$700 for the plate,
Okay.
and then there's a $7 monthly fee to run the plate.
This seems like every Tesla owner in California is going to do this.
Yeah, probably. There's a picture of the plate right there. It's literally just a computer screen that just shows your plate all the time. It's like
Yeah.
it's like screwing a tablet to the trunk of your car.
Yeah, it's like a Kindle that just shows your license plate.
Yeah, pretty much. And nothing else.
Weird.
It doesn't make much sense.
What's your favorite license plate?
My favorite license plate?
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of where I'm moving to's antique plates
Yeah.
because of like a polished brass look or a polished copper look with red letters.
I currently like the New Mexico ones. They're like teal and like
Yeah,
yellow.
they're kind of neat looking. I love the California, like 80s California sunrise plate or sunset plate.
Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah, that's a good one.
My least favorite is the Massachusetts Choose Life license plate.
Yeah.
Stupid politics and religion getting into plates that shouldn't be.
Massachusetts has a ton of ridiculous
Tons of special plates because it's really simple. You just need, it's like 3,000 people to say they'll get it,
Yeah.
and it has to go to a nonprofit charity.
Yeah.
And you can put whatever you want on the plate. So if I was like, hey, 3,000 people, I want Brad DeSantis plates, and I want my face on it, and I'll give the extra money to, children's cancer research.
All right, so that's what we need. We need the
Auto off-topic license
Yeah,
plate?
we'll register as a nonprofit, and then we'll get 3,000 people to sign the petition.
There's the hard part, getting 3,000 people. It's not signing a petition. It's 3,000 people saying they'll buy the plate.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not simple.
I know there's like a shark one.
Yep, there's the right whale one.
There's like
Cape and the Islands one.
there's like a
There's the Protect and Serve one.
There's
There's
a
the Fire Department one.
there's a farmers market one.
There's a Farmers one. There's a Bruins one, a Red Sox one, a Celtics one, a Patriots one.
Patriots one's got the championships on them.
Yep.
It's like so douchey.
Yep. What else is there? The Cape and the Islands one. The Cape Ann one. There's just a bunch of them.
Yeah, there's so many.
That's not even
so
that's
many.
not even scratching the surface of how they have to choose life one. I can't even think of it more at the time, but I know there's more.
Oh,
There's
well,
the kids education one
Yeah.
with the stick figures on it.
we talk about like New Hampshire had to change all of theirs because they used to have Old Man of the Mountain on their plate,
Yeah.
and then the damn thing fell off the mountain, so it's not there anymore. So they just have like a moose, and they're kind of like green.
Oh, it's a breast cancer one.
I feel like I liked the old New Hampshire plates, but I don't remember what they looked like. I only remember the new ones. But yeah, they're all over the place.
That was the Mass Animal Coalition one. That's the one with the dog and the cat sitting next to each other by
Mhm.
the sunset.
Yep.
God, there's so many of these
There's
things.
tons of them. They're expensive.
Yeah. Oh, the United We Stand one. I like that one.
The USA one.
Yeah, in the back it had kind of like a faded version of the flag flowing behind the plate.
Yeah, that one's cool.
Yeah, I like that one.
That's probably the best
Oh, there's
one.
the Olympic one with the rings.
Yeah.
What we don't see around here is the Blackstone Valley one. It's a Western Mass thing.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. I'm looking at the pictures of them right now, and there's no shark. We said shark. There's no sharks.
Oh, I think people
It's
are
a
trying.
whale. There's a right whale one, which is the whale tail.
I think people are trying to get the shark one.
Well, the Basketball Hall of Fame, because we have the Basketball Hall of Fame in Springfield, is one of those.
Right.
Anyway,
All right. And I like the reissue of the California black plates. That's pretty cool. It'd be cool if they did like Massachusetts did like a reissue of like a vintage plate.
yeah, it would be.
Like the white on blue would be cool. I'd get those.
Yeah, I like the white on blue. It's very simple.
Yeah.
It'd be cool if they had like options for colors that match your car.
Yeah.
Because like the white with red letters looks terrible on like a yellow car.
It's terrible on all cars.
Yeah.
Almost all cars. Like, yeah, that would be kind of cool. Like, why wouldn't? Yeah, I mean, what would be so hard about that?
Right.
I don't care if it, just make the plate fit all your rules, but just give me a couple of color choices, like
Yeah, exactly.
red plate, white letters, a black plate with yellow letters.
Just a couple of simple ones.
Yeah, blue
Just to match
plate.
my car.
Yeah, just a blue plate with white letters. Like,
Most people don't care about that though, just us.
but I don't know. It would be cool. All right. Anything else?
I don't know. I think that's all I got about license plates.
Yeah.
I mean, we touched on the starter license plates and now the future of digital license plates.
Yeah.
So
Strange.
and
so strange.
everything in between, and the standardized size. But yeah, no, I'm stoked to get those nice polished brass looking vintage plates on all my antique cars out there. And actually, Arizona has probably almost as many special plates as Mass does.
I'm sure they do.
There's a lot of them out there.
It's a easy way to generate revenue.
Yeah, and good press for all the different organizations involved.
Right. All right. So, Sunday, June 16th, Coffee Factory, Salem, New Hampshire, Cars and Coffee. I will be there.
Actually, this episode might not come out in time for that.
Yes, it will.
Okay. Never mind.
Will.
All right, fine. I won't be there.
I'm keeping track of it, so I know where it.
However, I think I will be here for the July event. So.
All right, we'll see. So, as always, follow us on Auto Off Topic on Facebook, Auto Off Topic on Instagram. Raced in Anger on Instagram is me. Brad, where can they find you?
TSI SS 350 on Instagram.
Turbo Tub 454.
No.
No?
TSI SS 350.
Okay. All right, cool.
Or TSIS 350 if you must.
All right. Anyway, keep cars analog and aim for the roses.